Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining this solo session. Today, I'm going to be talking about how we can utilize AI solutions in order to come up with hit games. I'll give you a slight introduction about myself first. I'm Ali Al Hamwi. I'm the founder of SIFOR Studios. We are a game studio based in United Arab Emirates, and we are a data-driven game studio that has been in the hyper-casual scene since 2018. We are focusing on pushing the limits of AI to come up with games that can fit the market and utilize this technology in order to accelerate the process of ideation and innovation in game studios. So to begin with, I'm going to be talking about a few challenges that the market is going through at the moment. And from there, we're going to move towards explaining how we are using AI to solve these challenges. For your information, this is a recorded speech. So if you have any questions during the session, please ask me on the chat. I will be available. I would be happily interested in your questions because this is an entirely new topic that has been discussed in Hyper Games Conference. And I believe there's a lot to talk about here. Also, even after the session, if you are interested in the topic, we can have a chat about it in LinkedIn. Okay, so let's begin. We'll start with the first challenge that we have. So the first challenge is the competitiveness of the market. The market is saturated with games on weekly basis or even on daily basis. There's thousands of studios around the world prototyping game ideas, throwing it in the market, trying to see whether they can hit the KPIs or not. It became like gambling. So it's a huge challenge for a lot of studios. And it's a big problem for whoever is trying to make a living out of mobile games. So small studios are obviously going through a lot of struggles. And that's one of the main factors on why they're not able to benchmark or even publish a hit game that easy. As you can see in the picture here, it shows you the new apps that are being published on the App Store and Google Play. So yeah, that's quite a lot to begin with. Moving on to the next problem that we have, which is lack of innovation. The reason why a lot of game studios are going through innovation problems or not being able to find good game ideas and therefore ask publishers for game ideas or try to, come up with game ideas that are not even market friendly is because everybody is focusing on the games on the top charts. Everybody is just trying to set a boundary that could follow those games that are already making a lot of money on the top charts with teams that are similar, art style that is similar, taking into account that we come from a hyper casual background. We are well aware on how the game should be snackable and easy to understand and all these factors that make up the hyper casual genre. But the fact that we only look at the top charts to come up with our game ideas is quite a challenging one. Or there's other studios that focus on simulation games where they could look at their daily life routine and come up with a certain simulation and turn it into a game. So these factors of innovation are quite limited for developers. And that's a challenge in my opinion. Because it limits the amount of possibilities that we could come up with, maybe new genres or new type of game experiences or mechanics. Moving on to the third problem that we have, innovation does take time. There's been stories of game studios creating hit games after prototyping like 200 prototypes, 400 prototypes, and then they came up with a hit game. And some of them came up with a hit game that was not scalable. So that's that's a huge issue. Imagine you test around 200 prototypes, and the prototype that meets the KPIs, it doesn't go to the next level of the test because it was not scaled. It didn't pass the day one test, So that is an actual issue that the studios are suffering from. To move forward with the next issue, the fourth one is low KPIs. Sorry. So low KPIs is the key performance indicators that publishers are looking for in order to know whether your game can be profitable and scalable or not. This is a major issue for studios because they're not able to reach those KPIs due to their lack of understanding of the market and lack of the market analysis. So they don't have that much exposure on how the market is reacting, what is trending, what is not. They rely on sources like social media, trying to see certain hashtags, whether this hashtag is trending right now. We look for a few videos, try to innovate a new game idea. So they develop a prototype and they test it, but unfortunately, most of them do not meet the standards. Now, KPIs rely on many factors. It could be the game mechanic, the theme, the game concept, and the quality of the game. Now, the quality of the game plays a big role, of course, in order to make the game appealing for the market, because the whole point of KPI testing is whether the game is appealing and able to stay in the market with its users, to be returning to it, to play it again and again. So the fact that we don't have that much exposure on all these other data factors, the mechanics that are in the market, the themes, the concepts, makes us way back, in queue of making hit game. Not like the publishers access to such data, because the publishers know exactly where the market is moving, because they can see where the prototypes are being developed, and which concepts, and which themes, and which subgenres. It all plays a role for them on how they can create hit games. But for the majority of small studios, it's very difficult. So that was the last problem that I'm going to be discussing today, the fourth one. And I'm going to be talking about the platform that we use as a game studio, which is helping us find solutions for the current market situation, the current challenges that I've mentioned in the previous 4 slides. It's called Ludo AI. This platform has been up since 2020. And surprisingly, the amount of solutions that I utilized using this platform is unimaginable, because using Ludo AI, I was able to find the right market analysis data, find where the market is moving to, find the trends, generate new game ideas that are fully innovative. There is also options to create icons for your game. There's options to get more in depth of your game idea, add more details to it, make it more, in tune with where the market is going. And also an image generator and image search functions, where you could use image search in order to get more inspiration on how your game would look like, or how you want it to look like. It helps with imagining how your game is going to be like. The image generator also helps you have a certain perspective on the theme of the game, since there's also many styles of image generators. It could be 2D games, or 3D, or even pixelated. So they also have styles for image generation that could be in tune with your game concept, and it could support and accelerate the ideation process of the game, with seeing it right away in front of you without developing anything. You could see some of the factors that make the major experience of your game right away, which is the graphics as well. So it's quite interesting. I'm gonna get in details on how each function or how we can actually utilize such platform to solve the previous challenges that I've mentioned in the previous slides. So the first solution that this market provided, this platform provided for us was, it gave us ideas that could stand out in the market. It gave us concepts that are not done yet in the market. So it gives us more hope to explore new concepts in a relatively short time. So it didn't take us a lot of time to come up with the ideas. It was a few clicks, a research from here, a research from there, and we're able to come up with a game idea. Now, for a lot of game studios, this is an amazing solution. You come up with countless, limitless amount of game ideas, with few clicks. So imagine if you could spend few hours coming up with a game idea and you supercharge your creativity using Ludo AI. There's a lot to explore here. I personally believe that AI will take the lead of the market at some point, and it will be able to create commercial games. And this is the first step for integrating artificial intelligence in the craft of games. And that is, the AI helps human creativity to come up with game ideas. And in later phases, you never know, it could move towards generating entire game experiences and having it fully commercial for the audience. So that's the first solution. The second solution is that you could fully innovate new game concepts and new game mechanics and accelerate your innovation roadmap for your game studio, since it could give you the possibility of exploring maybe a new game genre or maybe a combination of two genres together that could give you something entirely new and nobody thought of. So using that platform really showed me a few concepts that I've never seen before in the entire game market. After me, experimenting with it for a few weeks, and I believe if us as game studios in this hyper casual scene move towards this platform and try to push its limits and see the boundaries that we can break with such technology, I'm pretty sure we could come up with a lot of subgenres, just like how the arcade idle came through, or the idle clicker, or the hybrid casual. There's all these genres and subgenres are coming through from the market because the market is moving in a certain direction. So imagine if we have a perspective on where the market is going, at the same time, we have a tool that could help us ideate in relation to that direction. So it does its job when it comes to supercharging the human creativity. And here, since ChatGPT is becoming trending nowadays, I thought about including what does ChatGPT think of AI and ideating game ideas. As you can see here, it says AI can help overcome the limitations of human cognition, allowing for the generation of a larger number of ideas and solution in a shorter amount of time. So it does help us with saving time, and it does help us with exploring new horizons. So that's what ChatGPT thinks of it. But us as humans, I believe we should experiment first and see how we could move forward with it. The third solution that we have is rapid prototyping. Is going to be very important for game studios. It was always actually very important to create hit games. As I said, a lot of game studios been testing out a lot of game ideas, and if we allow them to have the ability to accelerate this process using Ludo AI platform, it will save them so much time on searching for new concepts and trying to think outside the box. Outside the box is basically inside this platform. And the way to it is very simple. It's few clicks and you can come up with something fully new in the market. So moving on to the fourth solution that we have. Actually, sorry, that was the fourth solution. That was the third, yeah. So we're going to be talking in this slide on how we've been utilizing such platform to help us with accelerating our innovation and coming up with new game experiences. So us as a game studio, we open the platform and we go directly to the daily trends. We check what type of topics there is on the daily trends. As you can see here, there's a lot of topics and it's always changing according to the market. It could give you exposure on what type of games are being developed and published out there. So you choose one of those concepts and you can click on it and move towards checking its long-term trend in the market analysis. So you see whether this concept or this interest in the market as a theme, for example, does have a long-term popularity, then it means that people in the market are familiar with it. And if people are familiar with it in the market, then it could be easier to do the CPI test while people having an exposure of such concepts before. That means that it will be easier for them to understand what is the concept about. After that, in the same functionality, the market analysis, there's the short-term trend. So that one was the long-term trend, and we're going to talk about the short-term trend. Short-term trend really specifies for game studios whether the game idea is going to be trending anytime soon. As you can see, if it's catching momentum, here it says 91.8% per day. So that means there's more interest, there's more game ideas related to this topic being published in the market. On daily basis, it's growing at the rate of 91.8%. So in a relatively short time of 7 days, is growing 91.8% a day. So that's interesting. You can see that it's moving towards that direction. So you ideate something related to that. Now, the fourth step, the game ideator. This is where the innovation happens. This is where all the new concepts can be coming into fruition and turned into prototypes that are successful and hit games. So you could use the game ideator with the previous data that I've showed you. You could choose one of the topics, type few keywords, or even type games from the top charts or games that already exist in the market. It doesn't have to be in the top charts, maybe a certain mechanic that you like. And what this AI will do is that it will combine your keywords along with the game that you chose, for example, with the topic from the market analysis together to form a new concept, a new idea, a new experience that could be the next hit game. Fingers crossed, this is going to be, like a mine for hit games, for those studios that are interested in innovation and moving into new horizons in the market. So the fifth step, after you choose one of those game ideas that are generated, you move to the fifth step, which is the game concept. You add more depth to your game concept. You want to know how is it played, for example, how is it played, what type of mechanic, how the game starts. If you want to, have more details on the video of the CPI, and you want to know how the video will start, so you can attract more people to look at the video in the first 3 seconds, because that's like a major factor in cost per install test, CPI. The goals, how you lose, how you win, if you want to add a story to your game, all these small factors can be fully generated using Ludo AI. And it's insane. It's mind-blowing how much we were able to come up with entirely new concepts out of the blue. I believe we should push such boundaries to see how far we could go with game ideas, especially with the current market circumstances. Okay, so the sixth step that we do, we use the image generator, not the image search. They do have like an image search option, where if you want to have like a pitch deck for your game idea, You could go for the image search, add a few images from previous games in the market, just to clarify what the game is all about or the theme of the game. The image generator gives us an exposure of the game concept. We explain, we add the text of the game. We try to explain how it looks like. And most of the times it gives us something similar to whatever we are thinking of. And in this case, as you can see, the images generated, we were experimenting with a game called a Life Dispensing Machine. And this prototype, we had to write it down, and it gave us an exposure of how the gameplay could look like. So there's options. You could have like a 2D style, the 3D pixelated. There's many styles that you could add. You could also write your own style and see how what type of result you will get. So it's quite limitless, and it only gets better. So moving on to step number 7. What you can use the image generator for as well is one of the problems that me personally used to have in my game studio. I'm not really good at supervising icons on coming up with like an attractive icon for our games. So thought about using their image generator to create icons, because they have this functionality of generating an icon for your game. So imagine an AI that has exposure to all the game's icons in the market will generate an icon for your game. Who's going to do it better? Is it the AI or the human mind? I believe combining both of them, experimenting with it, we could come up with something special. And these are the steps that you could generate a hit game out of the platform. You should have a look at it. But as a studio, from our end, we believe that the future of gaming is going to include AI in the craft of games. There's a lot of researches about that, and I believe that the market is going to move towards involving artificial intelligence in the craft of games and game dev. It's been used in NPCs, but there's a lot to see on how we could involve it in the creative factors of the game, and how we can accelerate or automate the process in one way or another. Taking into account that human creativity is very important. It's what makes us special here. And me, personally, I'm a believer that human creativity is very important to have in the product, because you can put your touch on it. But if we have a platform that could allow us to come up with human-friendly products and supercharge our creativity, then that's a good combination to come up with something special in the market. So imagine you put your team's touch on the game plus the machine's touch, and combining them together, that could be something revolutionary. Or even something that could be market friendly and therefore could go commercial. A lot of game ideas are killed. A lot of game prototypes are, thrown away just because a lot of publishers can't afford to publish the game and monetize it. So it's truly a big problem, but having such solution could give us a new way to see how we can direct this entire market elsewhere. Because from whatever I can see in the market, it's only getting harder and harder on independent game developers to survive. And maybe AI could give us that power back and be able to innovate a new horizon for the market. It was a pleasure talking about such topic on Hyper Games Conference. Please, if you have any questions, ask me. I will be around. And I'm also available on LinkedIn. If there is any ideas, any partnerships, I would be really down to see how we can collaborate together. We're really open to collaborate with any studios around the world. And all the best.